Kummer, Vice President of Policy Coordinator at Society to start.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, indeed, nobody really knows what it is. Enhanced cooperation was one of the outcomes of Tunis. The IGF was another one. The IGF has established itself and has been recognized as offering much value as a forum for policy dialogue. Some of the speakers before me have underlined this. However, there are people who felt they were a bit short-changed with the IGF. They thought it would be something that would actually live up to their ambitions to change existing arrangements, but this was not what it was intended. And also the question whether the IGF has any relationship to enhanced cooperation is something that has been left to interpretation. The General Assembly has passed resolutions that says there are two separate processes. However, it's difficult to ignore the fact that the IGF has brought people together who have not talked to each other beforehand, and in our interpretation, it is very much a catalyst for enhanced cooperation. The process was started by the Secretary General back in 2005 as called for by Tunis agenda. The consultations on enhanced cooperation so far have produced, strictly speaking, not much. There are different interpretations of what it is. The language in the Tunis agenda was carefully negotiated, carefully crafted. It's full of diplomatic and creative ambiguity. Everybody can read into it what they want to read into it. It is clear that it means people should cooperate and should enhance their cooperation. Our interpretation is that it is within and between existing organizations, and there is no need for a new body or a new process. However, others hold a different view and think it's a clear mandate to either set up a new body to give governments a role, or then to start a process. There were two consultations on this, one in New York in 2010 and one in Geneva this year. And this year there was a negotiating process which almost achieved agreement on how to move forward on this issue, but it was blocked at the last moment. And the stumbling block was whether or not the process should be multi-stakeholder. Those who blocked it wanted a government-only process, which was not acceptable as a basis for a consensus. Well, based on that, we as Internet Society got together with other stakeholders, with the business community represented by ICC Basis, and also with civil society organization, the Association of Progressive Communication, and we decided to move on with this process and to have an event, one-day event on enhanced cooperation in Baku the day before the meeting on 5th of November. So allow me to make a commercial for this event. Please show up if you're in Baku, and you are encouraged to register online so we know a little bit how many people will be there. We will try and take stock a little bit of what happened since 2005, and we think much has happened since 2005. The internet governance landscape is not the same anymore as it was then. There is much more cooperation going on between the internet organizations, but also with other international organizations. For instance, Council of Europe, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, they both have opened up to multi-stakeholder cooperation. They're still intergovernmental organizations, of course, but they are much more open, and they have invited civil society and the technical community alongside of business to participate in their deliberations. In the OECD in particular, at a high-level meeting last year, where the non-governmental stakeholders were able to participate, to engage in the negotiations of a final communique. So we think this is indeed enhanced cooperation, but we would also like to maybe be a little bit more proactive, and Bill, you mentioned in your introduction there has been a little bit of slippage on the Tunis principles. And the Tunis agenda, also the Geneva principles, were actually very good, and I think it is time to be maybe a little bit more aggressive about it and to recall that internet governance needs to be based on multi-stakeholder cooperation. And this is not always the case. This is something I think we need to recall, and we hope that our pre-event will maybe give more clarity of where we stand with regard to enhanced cooperation. We're certainly willing to discuss that, and I will invite you all to engage in this discussion and to try and engage with those who have different views of what enhanced cooperation is. I forgot to mention that the pre-event has the support of 3 former IGF host countries, Brazil, Egypt,